the DORK podcast with Rich Keefe. It's the DORK podcast with Davey. It's the DORK podcast. It's the hashtag DORK podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Hashtag Dork. My name is Rich Keefe, joined as always by Davey Eyeballs. He is Red Von Dead. All hail the king of ginger ale. It's Ryan. Davey, how are you?
To quote Andy Dwyer from the show Parks and Recreation, I'm fine, except that life is pointless. Nothing brings me joy anymore, and I'm always tired.
Yeah.
Talk about your all-time egg laying.
To make it a real time capsule, if you're tuning into this 10 years from now, this is the night where the Bruins, the best regular season hockey team in the history of hockey, lost in the first round. We're just coming off overtime. Thanks for those that are sticking around. We were hoping to record this about an hour earlier, but here we are now. And what a mess. What a mess.
I'm going to give you everything I got right now, but I am a shell of a human being right now.
I don't blame you, dude. That was so frustrating. And to lose in the first round at home in overtime when you give up a goal with under a minute to play in the third period to tie it and then losing. Oh, my God, just a kick in the dick.
And not only that, so from a hockey coaching standpoint, to not make a single adjustment in 3 games. They made the same mistakes 3 games in a row and did not make a single adjustment. That's coaching. They got out-coached. I'm going to say that. They got out-coached.
Out-coached.
Use it for the program tomorrow. Use it for the program.
I have like a 10-minute show, and then I have Red Sox pregame. So,
well, you can tell them that I said that they were. You
want to come on? You want to do 10 minutes?
Do 10 minutes of just me going like this. By the way, I was going to save this for should I have bought this. If you're looking, I have this little black cylinder right here that does this.
Davey is so excited to show me that. I'm like, I have a whole page of these.
But can you do this?
No. No, I guess I can't.
You can't do that. See, mine are at will, and they're all different. They're like snowflakes. Can't beat that, though.
You have a dog barking and a lady moaning?
Can't beat that.
All right, anyway. Good.
Let's just take me out of just yet.
No, it stinks, dude. It stinks. Swayman had a couple of saves on like breakaways too, where you're like, he bailed their ass out.
Bailed their ass out. Like, I just don't. Again,
how did they repay him? They didn't repay him.
I'm gonna tell you like this: they got beat in the defensive zone and in the neutral zone. Like, how do you not? You rim the puck around in the defensive zone. Their D crashes down. Their third forward comes in high, taking away that chip through the middle, and you don't make a single goddamn adjustment the entire time. It doesn't make any sense to me. And they're holding their own blue line, so all you have to do is chip it past them and get pressure in deep. And they just kept turning the puck over at the offensive blue line. Just kept turning it over for 3 games straight. Sorry, I'm getting hockey analytical right now.
You're good.
I'm hot. I'm hot.
I'm hot
under the collar here.
You should be.
Yeah.
And then Tyler Bertuzzi's a free agent. He's probably not going to sign. Bergeron's going to retire. Krejci's going to retire. But
you see Bergeron at the end of the game? He's not coming back.
He's done.
He's done.
He played for a song, and then he was hurt, and then the whole thing. So
it's going to come out tomorrow that Olmark was hurt too. The entire series,
probably.
Yep.
And then but that's going to be a second guess then on Montgomery. If he was hurt the whole series, why didn't you play Swayman the whole series? You know,
right.
It's a lot to fucking unpack, man. They shit pants though. In reality, they ended up shitting in their pants,
like liquid shit in their pants.
Yeah, poop.
Yep.
They pooped their pants. That's not what we're doing, though. Yeah, nope. Well, we got that.
We got that. I'm just going to fart my way through this thing because it's the only thing I can do.
We have a dump load of stuff to get to, though, Rye. So let's get to it, shall we?
This week in DORK.
Big Cinemacon this past week. You in on Cinemacon?
Who gives a fuck about anything? I'm kidding. I'm going to be like that the whole podcast. Just be like, fuck everything.
Yeah. What do you think about this? Hate it. Hate it. I didn't even tell you what it is.
So there's a movie that was featured. It's called like the Holdovers or something like that with Paul Giamatti. I only bring it up because it was filmed here. Parts of it were filmed here at my escuela. So be on the lookout for that movie. I was excited because they filmed here. So it's Paul Giamatti at a he's like a boarding school teacher, and there's like a kid and they both get stuck there like over winter break. So they actually film some of the interior scenes of the school here. So
Yeah.
be on the lookout for that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm kind of in on CinemaCon. What else did they give us?
Are we the bad boys of CinemaCon?
We could be. I desperately want to go. So there was something came up in my Twitter feed. So you sent the thing about SatanCon, which
Yeah,
we
SatanCon.
we need to go to that. But also, like, kept getting stuff for like the I gotta say this quietly, like the Pornhub Awards.
Jesus.
How do we get invited to that? How do we get a press conference for that?
How
Press
do we
pass.
not? How do we not get invited to that?
I know.
But the SatanCon, I looked into it because I'm like, oh, that scratches where I itch.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out these aren't like real Satanists. They don't believe in Satan.
Although isn't Satan like the representation of like human desires on Earth rather than like
yeah, but kind of
like heavenly
like,
desires?
I don't know, man. Like I was reading into it, and I'm like, these people are just like, we're all about like separation of church and state. I'm like, you're not a real Satanist.
Come on.
They said they don't do anything with souls. Like they don't steal souls. I was like,
Why
what?
not? Just sitting there. Take them.
Take them. You can get them. Some of these people will sell them to you. Some people who are like down and out, they'll set up $5-10.
Absolutely.
You're like, give me your soul. Here's 10. They're like, all right.
He's like, all right.
Fuck. That's
Go buy some Thunderbird or something. Some bum wines. Yeah.
Whatever it takes. Anyway, CinemaCon happened, and there was a lot going on. Warner Brothers, the WB, was there, and they have a whole list of films that are coming out in 2023. And we got a second trailer for The Flash. And I don't say this lightly, Ryan. Is this going to be the greatest movie of all time?
It has a chance to be. If they make it just like they call it The Flash, but then just make it a Batman movie.
All the Batman.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, call it whatever you want.
Call it whatever you want.
Yeah. So
the
this
Flash and Batman. Flash Bat. Bat Flash.
Bat Flash. June 16th. So we are less than 2 months away from this. And this will go down as one of the all-time, if only they could have saved it for the movie. I understand why they didn't, because like you got to get people to go see the movie. We've always talked about how like in Thor Ragnarok, if they never showed Hulk in the trailer, what a great surprise that would have been.
Right.
Can you imagine sitting down, you and me being like, the Flash doesn't really matter anymore, but just like we went and watched Shazam, we're like, we watch all these movies, sitting down, let's see what the Flash does. And you had no idea, and then all of a sudden Michael Keaton's Batman showed up.
And they just take their steel-toed boot and just kick you in the dink to the moon.
To the moon.
To the moon.
You would have had if you had no idea he was in this. Now it's impossible now because like a year out, we get like a full cast list and then in the teasers, the trailers, they're like, hey, we gotta tell you who's in here.
Yeah.
I haven't really been surprised. I guess I was a little surprised when Luke Skywalker showed up in Book of Boba Fett, but even then, the day before, I got kind of like a rough spoiler of it when Alan Sepinwall was like, hey, old school Star Wars fans, you'll love tomorrow's episode. And I'm like, what the fuck does he mean by that? Like, I think he means Luke Skywalker. And he did. So, but the Flash looks ridiculous, and
it looks so good.
All the Batman, the Flash story, it's a pretty easy story. Zod, which I wasn't wild about Zod, but it wasn't because of Michael Shannon. It was more I didn't like Man of Steel, but bringing Zod back, I think will be a good villain.
I was reading something too. I think Michael Shannon was like the most surprised person out of anybody. He was like, "Wait, I thought I died." Like, no, you're back. He's like, "Nah, all right."
Like it's comic books, dude.
Whatever, whatever, man. Yeah,
you'll be back. Dune 2. The director is Denis Villeneuve, and he says it is an epic war movie. You know that?
I did know that. And they're bringing in was the kid who played Elvis. He's playing the other
Austin Butler.
brother, Austin Butler. Yeah, he has a big role in this movie. He's playing the role. I don't want to get. I forget the guy's name. But he plays who Sting played in the original Dune.
Okay.
He's like that Stellan Skarsgård's son.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So Dave Bautista was one of the sons. He's the other one.
I liked the first Dune very much.
It's awesome.
I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Dune 2. Electric Boogaloo. Beetlejuice 2 has been confirmed. You in on Beetlejuice 2?
I am in on Beetlejuice 2. I'm interested to see. Yeah. Hopefully we get. I know you have to get Keaton back, and Winona Ryder as like a mom now would be sweet.
Yep. Oh
she does like the creep. Yeah.
Because, I love Winona Ryder.
Lydia Dietz.
Lydia Dietz
is a little older now, so
you know the guy in the waiting room with like the little head.
Yeah,
that comes up way more than I would ever think that it does. Like it's like a topical reference to me.
Yeah.
And my sister sent me some video from like years ago of like these two people that were going into like a roller coaster, and the one like and it's like it's an old video. I don't know where she found it. She sent it to me and she said she's been laughing about it all day. And it was like a woman, and then the person next to her is like freaking out before they even go. They're like, we're not gonna fly out of this, are we? And the lady's like, no. And like, you sure? And then like, hey, let's say hi to the camera. And then all of a sudden the thing like catapults up and the person shoots down into like her seatbelt is like up here. Her head gets so tiny, like shrunk down. I honest to Christ thought she was gonna fly out of the thing.
Yeah.
But stayed in there. But anyway, I'm like, looks just like the Beetlejuice character. Anytime somebody has like their head gets little or like whatever, all I can think of is the little guy in the waiting room.
That happened to a buddy of mine. We were on the Batman ride. It was like the Joker ride at Six Flags, the one that you like your feet are dangling.
Yeah.
Have I told this story before?
No.
So it's my buddy Brownie, and he's got like, it's the thing, your feet are dangling, right?
Yeah.
So the whole ride, he's like, fuck. Like he's just like yelling the whole ride. I'm like, dude, are you good? I'm just thinking he's scared or whatever. So we, you know what, like it comes in at the end, it comes flat, and then you kind of slow down and like it starts going slow. He looks at me, lets his arms go, like had his arms crossed, like across himself. He lets go, and the thing shot out like 2 feet. Like he could have fell like straight down.
So he held himself up.
He held himself on the ride. Like he was holding the thing to his chest so he wouldn't fall out.
Ridiculous.
It was crazy. Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Roller coasters, man. Another reason why I hate amusement parks.
Yeah, I'm not a big roller coaster guy. Like I'll go. I'm not like scared of them, but I'm not like into them either.
No. I just
Warner Bros. Said they have 9 releases for the rest of this year: The Flash, Barbie, The Meg 2.
Right.
What's the? Oh,
In
thank
it.
Christ! We got Jason Statham here on the podcast. Can you please tell me the plot of The Meg 2?
Well, it's a big fucking shark, isn't it?
Right.
That's all I got for tonight. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's in the water, right?
Yeah. Should be.
And it's eating people.
The shark is. Yep.
That's it.
I'll see that. You're in it too?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm right fucking in it.
I'll put
in
my
it.
$20.
I'm in it. That's what I was going for. Yeah.
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 I'll see the Meg too. I don't care. I don't give a shit.
It comes out on a Tuesday.
Why the fuck would it come out on a Tuesday?
No, Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday because of the Meg. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Also British. Yeah, it's a Tuesday, mate.
It's a Tuesday. Yeah.
In it.
Nah, I got it.
Yeah.
The Blue Beetle comes out in August, and there was an interview that I forget the kid's name who was.
It's very hard to pronounce. I don't know what his.
It's a tough name to pronounce. He's the star of Blue Beetle. He's also one of the co-stars of Cobra Kai. And he had a quote, just a brutal quote. And I'm not expecting all actors to be aware of like comic book movies or even the characters that they play, unfortunately. But he said something to the effect of, like, I think Blue Beetle is unique in the sense that he's the only superhero who didn't want to have powers.
You're right. I'm sure Bruce Wayne like wanted his parents dead, and Peter Parker was just a willing participant in a spider experiment, and that happened to him, right? Has this kid ever picked up a singular comic book?
How about half the X-Men? Like
Right.
that's the theme of like almost every X-Men movie. Like the X-Men were like Hulk or I've been watching Titans, so like everybody in Doom Patrol, like there's just so many like I would
Cyborg.
argue, Cyborg, like half the characters probably don't want their powers.
Right.
Anyway,
Bruce Banner.
Yeah, oh yeah, no way. Then fuck the Hulk wanted him.
The only person I can think of was like
Thing.
Yeah, Captain America is the only person I can think of who actually signed up for it.
He like got in line. It was like, gimme. You also got the Nun 2 Electric Boogaloo, the aforementioned Dune 2 Electric Boogaloo, Wonka.
You know, the kid Chalamet.
Yeah.
Like he's the next one where he's the next like Jared Leto. We're going to be rolling our eyes at him. Did you read that thing? He was like,
oh, you think?
He actually went swimming in chocolate and has been eating like chocolate exclusively and like giving himself stomach aches. Is like, relax.
Dude, he's a nice actor though.
But like,
dude, he acts good.
You act good.
You act good.
He plays
Hey,
pretend
Keaton.
really. Yeah, relax.
Yeah, he does. No, he's like as far as all the people currently in the world that play pretend, he's one of the better ones at playing pretend.
And dress up. Pretend
Super
and dress up.
dress up and pretend. When you
Yeah.
can cross the two, and then I'll watch it. We'll talk
And get
about
paid
it.
millions of dollars to do it. Good
Millions
for
of
you,
dollars.
kid.
Yep.
Yep.
You couldn't be less important. The Color Purple and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Those are the Warner Brothers films.
It's like we're at two ends of the Roy G. Biv here. The Color Purple
Yep.
and Aquaman 2. Like these are like,
Aquaman.
why are they remaking The Color Purple?
I don't know, man. They're
The
all
first
these are
one's fine. Like
they're all sequels and remakes. Everything
I
on them.
never understand why they remake period pieces. It's already in the past. Like you know what I mean? What are you going to update it and have it take place in like you know what I mean? Like that doesn't make any sense.
You need a 2023 version.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I don't get it. Just get the
Right.
fucking
We have.
thing done.
Well, I'll tell you what we did get is
Yeah.
a new John Mulaney special on Netflix. You watched that yet?
Not yet. My wife did. She said it was okay.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's not like piss your pants funny. You won't need a second pair of pants. You won't need
Okay.
calico cut pants.
No, but you
For
got to
this.
give either way.
Oh, for
Guy's
sure.
totally underwater with the website.
He's swimming in it.
Yeah.
But he like tells the story of like what happened to him, and so he uses that sort of as almost his entire act, which is probably a smart thing to do because a lot of people probably the first time you go to see him, you're like, is he going to talk about it? Is he going to talk about it? Well,
Yeah.
he talks about it.
It's like Chris Rock getting slapped in the face, and then like, how's he not? Like, if I'm him, like, how am I not going to talk about this?
Yeah.
And if like Louis C.K. ever comes out of hiding, like that the first thing he's going to talk about is like, jerking off,
jerking it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mulaney's pretty good. It's like an hour. Actually, might even be more than an hour, but it was. I like him. It's not his funniest special, but I think it's good. And if you're a fan of Mulaney, you'll like it.
Mm-hmm.
You had the scoops on Kraven the Hunter.
Yeah, I do.
Not too long ago. This movie comes out October 6th, and it's going to be rated R.
Can't wait. I mean, please do this correctly.
Yeah.
And they say at CinemaCon they had a trailer or like a teaser, and Rhino is in it.
Okay.
And there's like a cheesy line where he says like, "You want to see where they call me the Rhino?" or something like that. And then it's like but at least it's not like the big mechanical suit. Like it's an actual,
the
like
actual rhino.
yeah,
It's a real rhinoceros. But they pay him scale.
yeah. Or they just like, guys, I want to see what they call, and he just takes a fake rhino nose and just like puts it on his head. Like, look at that. And he's like, that's it.
What are you doing?
So does Venom show up in this? Probably. I think so.
Venom has to. I wonder if Spider-Man does.
I hope so.
I would say no. Oh, and the other thing, if he does, there's no way it's a surprise. I feel like they're definitely gonna tell you. Yeah.
Which Spider-Man?
Garfield.
That'd be great.
If
would be great.
If it's a Spider-Man, I bet Garfield has the best chance of being in it.
Yeah, because technically he's already fought a rhino.
True.
So
it's all fucked. So fucking.
We'll see.
Life's so fucked right now.
It's so fucked.
So fucked. You see worse stuff on the news. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 out this week. I'm seeing it Thursday. I'm pumped.
Getting rave reviews already.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm excited about that. I gotta get some tickets going here.
So that'll be our episode Sunday night. So next week we will be doing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Excited about that. This news snuck up on me. Sweet Tooth Season 2 is out on Netflix right now.
They kind of did this under the radar too, and I wonder if like too much time has passed with this. They're gonna have to do a serious recap at the beginning of, because I think it was like 2 years since I watched the show.
You and I both really liked the first season.
Yes.
Dr. Joe, our guy from TLDR, he hated it, but that's because he read the comic book and he says it's so very different from the comic. I haven't read the comic book, and I guess that's probably a good thing because I could see how that would happen. But without knowing really anything about it, just knowing that there are some kids that turned into animals, I'm like, I'll give it a shot, and I liked it. So this will be one of the. Like I've said, I'm up to my hog in TV shows, but when I get a break in the action, I'll squeeze out an episode or two of Sweet Tooth.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit.
I don't give a heck.
Black Mirror season 6 had a teaser. We tweeted it out at Dork Podcast, coming out to Netflix in June. Somebody asked me recently if I like Black Mirror, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I like a couple episodes. I hate a couple episodes, and then like a few are kind of in between. So I don't know. It depends on like if you catch me right after one of the good ones, I'll be like, yeah, I kind of did. And then, but I don't know. It's not my fit. People go crazy for this show, but I guess I'm kind of in the middle.
People go crazy for it, but like you said, to me, it's like hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the episodes are really, really good. There's some standout ones, and then some of them are just instantly forgettable.
Ass.
Yeah.
Some of them are ass. Twisted Metal. We got this is going to be a Peacock TV series. Of course, Twisted Metal 2 for the original PlayStation might be one of my 5 favorite games of all time. I played as Thumper, but they had a teaser. It comes out July 27th. I think the whole series is going to be on Peacock. Anthony Mackie is in the game in the show about the game. But I'll tell you what, Rye, with The Last of Us being as good as it was, with the Super Mario Brothers movie, not that it was a great movie, but it just passed the $1 billion mark in worldwide. Don't you think video games are going to be the next comic books, where there were comic book movies made in the like 90s and like they weren't great, and then once they hit it, they realized that there were all these stories and there was already a fan base and everything else. Now, and like video game movies, the same thing, where few movies came out, weren't very good, but there's so much out there and there's so many good stories that if you make them right, you got a gold mine on your hands.
You really do. I like the storytelling has gotten to the point where it's like I mean, you look at some of the stuff that's out there, even like right now, like currently, like Amazon's doing their God of War thing. I'll use like HBO's doing The Last of Us, and this is coming along. So there's so much stuff that you can pull from that it's pretty crazy. And since it hasn't been done right, like I would love to see like a real go at a Resident Evil movie or Silent Hill. Like those movies, I mean, those games are just like, or like Uncharted was like okay,
And
but
they
then
did
you could
it.
have done that way better. By the way, you said you played as Thumper in
Yeah.
Twisted Metal 2. Is that who Anthony Mackie's playing?
No, I don't think so.
Bruce?
Because if you watch the thing, he is playing he's John Doe. What car is he in? So Samoa Joe, the wrestler, is Sweet Tooth.
Oh,
which
and he
is
looks
sick.
great, doesn't he?
Yeah. Anthony Mackie's character is called John Doe. No, he had like a fucking car. It wasn't like the pink Cadillac. He had like a car with like the guns on it, and he was just driving around.
I think I
Stephanie
used
Beatrice is in it
Oh.
from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Coco. No, not Coco. Encanto. Nev Campbell's gonna be in it.
Oh,
Yeah,
didn't want it for Scream. Now we got it for Twisted Metal.
good.
I think I used, let's see, Warthog. Was that the Humvee? I'm looking at the characters right now. I used that one a lot, I think.
Yeah. That game was
awesome.
a blast. Holy smokes, was that fun?
So good. Not as good. My favorite of the series is Twisted Metal Black. That was my favorite. I think it was PlayStation 2.
Yeah,
3. That was 3. That was PlayStation 3. That game was awesome. It was like super like Calypso was all weird and everything. Yeah, it was great.
So I'm interested. I'll give this a go. Peacock's had some interesting series so far. So Peacock had MacGruber, which was a blast. Peacock also had
Paul T. Goldman.
I'm currently watching Mrs. Davis, which I like, and Poker Face. So Peacock's done all right.
The Cock's doing okay.
Cock's got shows.
Yeah.
Cock's got shows. We have a few should I have bought this in the queue. I once again forgot to save off some of the pictures, and it was a late shot anyway. But continue to send those bad boys in. dorkpodcast@gmail.com. Something that you bought, a photo, $25 minimum, and then Davey and I will answer whether or not you should have bought it. Brought to you by 47 Brand. Use the promo code #dork at checkout for 25% off your entire order.
It's time for Davey's video game minute. Even if it takes more than a minute.
All right.
Well, we're going to talk about one thing and one thing only. So I got about 4 or 5 hours into Jedi Survivor, and it's pretty good.
Oh yeah, that just came out on Thursday.
It just came out. It's way bigger than the original. You don't have to waste time. So like you basically get 3. There's different stances. You can pick between 2. So you get the single, You get the double. And
Yeah.
you can actually break it apart, Ahsoka Tano style.
God damn.
So you can. That's the 3. There might be more. I don't know. I would love like a gun and a blaster.
Mhm.
Let's try that out. I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm only on the second planet.
Okay.
So I haven't really gotten that far into the story yet. There's so much stuff to find. There's so much stuff to like. You get lost. Like it's really easy. Like the last one. The last one I feel like a little bit more linear. This one's a little bit more open, so you can get lost and get like sidetracked.
I'm getting lost in this one. Like,
I know,
my Christ.
but there's
Look at
like
the map.
mounts you can get. You can like ride animals now. It's pretty awesome. And
Okay.
so this is a Cal Kestis who's seen some things. The only thing, there are issues graphically that I think they're going to fix. I'm a little tired of this. I'm a little tired of like games not being fully ready at launch and then roll out patches as we go. But it's
Yeah.
one of those things where it's just that's what you've come to expect now with like these high level games that take years and years and years to figure out. So when you get mad at Grand Theft Auto 6 for taking its time, like
Yeah. No,
at least know they're just trying to get it right, so you don't get it's a double edged sword, right? Because if you push it too early, like the game looks like shit, plays like shit,
Yeah.
whatever, and then people get mad, and then you like have to keep patching it. Versus you wait a long time and people bitch about how long it's taking you,
correct.
and then but they're gonna buy the game anyway, so it's like you can bitch
Yeah.
and moan all you want about Grand Theft Auto 6, you're buying it.
Oh God, the second it comes
everybody,
out.
yeah, and not only that, but like I think it's like still like the second most played game on Steam, or I mean on Twitch. Like Grand Theft Auto,
Oh,
like
5?
oh god, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
10 years later, people are still playing that game. So
That's amazing.
yeah, it's amazing, and this one's going to be even better. But the point is like this game is good. It's going to get better. The gameplay is like super solid. That's the highlight of it. It's pretty intuitive. Story is great. And this is a character, like you said, like putting video games into movies and TV. Cal Kestis needs to be canon immediately.
Mhm.
Like, is this a character you're kind of like he's on the edge right now, like teetering.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
which way he's gonna go. So like I'm
like
interested
that.
to see what they do with it.
All right. I like that. That's pretty sweet.
That's it.
All right.
That's all I
All
got.
right.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Question. Y'all ready for biz? Topic du jour time, Ryan. Well, I'm glad you asked. It's the topic of the day.
I didn't
And
fucking listen to
today,
the goddamn thing.
Last week, I saw a film. As I recall, it was a horror film.
that's right. We saw a horror film, Evil Dead Rise, one of Davies' most anticipated movies of 2023, with a runtime of 1 hour and 37 minutes. Currently on Roddy T's, 84% by the critics, 78% by the audience. We begin as we do with all of our movie and TV reviews, spoiler free. Ryan, did you like it?
I like this movie very much. Did you like it?
I did.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I definitely liked it. Like as I was watching it, it's definitely one of those ones where it's not for everybody. You can't recommend it for everybody. But if you're strictly if you're a horror fan, I think you're gonna like it. If you're
You're
not,
absolutely gonna like it. Yep.
if you're not, maybe very hit or miss.
Mhm.
Like, and that's why I was surprised that the critic score was as high as it was. It actually started even higher. It was in the 90s for a while.
For a hot minute.
And then it took into that second week and but even still 84 for horror movies is pretty good. But
That's about as good as you can hope for, right? Unless you're Ari Aster, like A24. Like that's as good as you can hope for.
Yeah.
For like a mainstream horror movie.
Yeah, like Jordan Peele. That's why like Get Out was so crazy, was because with the numbers that was pulling in. What were your expectations going into this?
I had very little expectations. I knew it was a sequel to the remake. So like I don't call like the most recent Evil Dead like a remake. It's almost like it runs parallel. And I have my theories as to like where I think eventually these things are going to merge.
Okay.
But this is the second in that series, like the non-Raimi Evil Dead series. So I think they're running parallel. Like the stories are happening at the same time. They just haven't crossed over yet. Because there's what seems like a throwaway line in the movie that matters. And again, it's one of those movies where like if you're a fan of this style of movie, if you're a fan of the Evil Dead's Army of Darkness, whatever, like you're gonna find winks and nods to this that to the other movies that you're gonna be like, like you know what I mean?
So you think it is a sequel to the last one? Like
yes.
13? Okay.
Yes.
Because I looked at it as kind of a standalone thing.
And
And
I say that because there's one line in the movie
okay.
that I picked up on that I actually had to like make sure that that's what they said.
Okay, all right, let's do
Yeah.
that. Or let's
Mhm.
get to that in spoilers.
Yeah.
But I think either way, like if you're somebody that has for some reason never seen any of these movies, I think you can plop down and watch this. Like
Yeah.
it's
No,
not a
you don't need any backstory for any of this.
no.
Yeah.
Evil Dead 2 is what your favorite horror movie?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's my favorite horror movie of all time.
yeah. Great, obviously, like two like all-time classics, Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, and then the one that came out 10 years ago, Evil Dead, pretty good as
It's
far as
really good.
like a reboot, requel,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. It
And
was
it's like they turned up the volume on like the gore and like the scary stuff.
sorry, what?
Yeah.
What? Were you talking to me? What are you saying? Oh, okay. I don't know. Keep going. No, you're good.
You good?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, the things you can do with practical effects now you couldn't do with other stuff, like earlier movies.
True. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. No, I
so I
agree.
was I was very happy with that, and they kind of they upped the game a little bit. Watching
Uh,
someone
y-
cut their tongue in half with a razor blade in the original, the first Evil Dead in this series was pretty harrowing.
yeah,
Yeah.
was nuts. Now, my expectations were it was at least going to be the scariest movie of the year. Like it was the trailer anyway made it look super
Mhm.
super scary. I think once you actually sit and watch the whole movie, it's scary in parts, but maybe not as scary as the trailer led on to be. Like,
And that's good
like I
to
don't
me, but like to me, that's good
okay.
because you do like in these movies, you do find the balance between like the scares, the absurdity, and the comedy of these things. It's just like if you're aware of what you're watching,
Mhm.
I think it's great. If you're expecting this to win any awards, like you go
Yeah.
and be like, oh, I want like that. It's 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. I expect to see like a really good, well developed characters and a great story. You're probably not going to get that, but
No. No, but I always have the test of like, could I watch this alone in the basement with nobody around, like dark, and would I be fine? And just based on like the preview for it, I was like, probably not. But now after I saw the theater and like if it popped up again at home and I was watching it, I'm like, I think I could without completely shitting my pants. It's still one of the scarier movies of the year, but I don't know of how much of it is like nightmare stuff, or at least the stuff that like scares me. Like I
there's
don't know.
stuff at the end that's some nightmare fuel.
Th
But
True. No, I mean, there are
yeah,
some crazy parts, and if
there's
you're
some
into
shit.
gore,
Yeah.
there's plenty of gore and all that stuff. Here's one thing, I'm curious where you'd go with it. The first well, Evil Dead 2 has some of it. Army of Darkness clearly has it. It's actually even maybe more even of a comedy,
Mhm.
but what did you think of the humor in this?
Um, it was kind of like they salt bait it a little bit. Like it was sprinkled in at kind of like the right times.
Yeah.
And there was like these like goofy one-liners that people always do, like in these movies that people always do, and I feel like they did good enough job. Or it wasn't distracting. Like I feel like Bruce Campbell when he's ever on, it doesn't matter if it's horror, like you're gonna laugh. Like the dude's fucking funny.
He's great.
Um,
Yeah, there's nobody like that.
Nobody. So like you have these characters that aren't him in this world, and they're reacting to how like normal people would react to these things. Um, and so every once in a while you got a little bit of a break, which was nice. So I thought that was because it's like you said, it's an hour and
30.
37 minutes. It's
Yeah.
tight too. Like 15 minutes in, you're going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah,
So
yeah. No, I like that.
I like that too. So it was nonstop that way. But like you said, you had to take little breaks in the action, and that's where you kind of found these pockets of like humor
Mhm.
and stuff. And I found like the youngest of the children was actually pretty funny at times.
Yeah, I was gonna say for a movie that had 3, if you wanna call them 3 kid actors, 2 of them are teenagers, but, like,
Mhm.
3 kid actors, and, like, none of them were super annoying, like, they were all
No.
pretty good, and even the
Mhm.
youngest one was ended up being pretty good. I like the character, like, that's one thing, like, you don't have anybody as charismatic as Bruce Campbell, but, like, as far as, like, new characters in a horror movie, like, I like them all, and that helps. That's a big help for what you're doing. Is this a theater movie? And I guess this probably falls into if you're a horror fan, yes, if you're not a horror fan, probably not.
Right. And I think there is a community aspect to it where like I don't think it's funny like sitting at my computer watching a movie or sitting at my TV watching a movie. I'm never going to be scared, but like for some reason like in a theater where it's like really loud and it's right in your face, I think that adds to it.
Mhm.
But like I said, I didn't really.
Yeah.
If you want to, it's this is a dealer's choice if you want to see it in the theater or not.
I think there's too much stuff. Like if you miss some of the movies that came out earlier, which were like theater movies, and then coming up, we're getting Guardians this week. We're getting Flash coming up. Like there's a lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
it might be no. I do think it's one. It's probably not the best, but it's up there. This has already been a good horror movie year. There
yeah.
was Knock at the Cabin. There was Megan. There was Scream 6. There was Sick, which I think is on Screaming on Peacock, and this one. So
Is it in like Smile? Wasn't Smile this year too?
no, that was last year.
Okay.
That was last year. That was good too. What is your hashtag dork score for Evil Dead Rise?
I'm gonna give this a 5.
Ooh, okay. So you like it a little bit more than me. I'm going 4.5.
Okay.
But I definitely liked it. I feel like I've given out a handful of 4.5s, but that to me is like that sweet spot for me personally, where it's like, all right, it's more than simply just like a good watch. Maybe not in that elite class yet.
Mhm.
Like I haven't given any 6s yet. I think did we both give John Wick like a 5.5? I believe.
I think so.
I can double check. That to me, still John Wick Chapter 4 is still the best movie of the year. And then there's a bunch of like 4.5s, and like this is one of them. But you're going 5. You like it a lot.
I like it a lot. I like it a lot for what it is. Yeah.
All right, very good. Anything else non-spoiler you want to hit on?
No, sir.
All right.
Spoilers! 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 Here come the spoilers!
So we mentioned this before, and when we talked about this movie leading up to it in other podcasts previous, we had mentioned, is Bruce Campbell in this? Not in this.
I'm okay, and I was okay with it
What the fuck?
because I feel like the tone of this movie, introducing him into this movie, would have completely tilted that movie.
Mhm.
Where it's like you go from this like campy, goofy thing to like something that's trying to be serious, and that would have created an imbalance, and it would have thrown the rest of the movie off. So I'm actually okay with it.
Yeah, I think he was a producer on the film,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and I think the good news is like this movie is doing well critically, and I think box office wise, it's doing all right. Like for a horror movie, it's doing very
Mhm.
well. Like it's making its money back, and then some. So I think to your point earlier, like it's tying as far as tying them all together and like getting Bruce Campbell in at some point, I think
Mhm.
could definitely happen. He wasn't in this one. This also, I was reading, was going to originally just be an HBO Max release, but then when they put it like they did test screenings,
Focus groups, yeah.
it did really well. So they're like, oh no, let's put it in theater and make money off of it.
Either way, I mean, it's great. I would have loved to have watched this on HBO
Mhm.
on the Max or whatever the hell they call it.
I'd watch, yeah,
Max.
which is gonna quickly
Yeah.
become the Max. Because like as of right now, you can't really call it a requel, or can you? Because on the one hand, there's no characters from the Evil Dead, but you do have the Book of the Dead, and that's kind of the main thing.
Well, can I tell you what I was talking about before? So there was a line in the movie. So when Danny is playing the first record, and one of the doctors, if you're listening closely, he says, "I have what I believe is one of 3 known copies of the Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead."
Okay.
So the 3 that I have in my mind is the Ash one, the
Mhm.
one you have, the one from the first movie, this first movie, the movie before this one.
Yeah, which is unfortunately just called Evil Dead also. So like
Right. So like it's hard because like, okay, so the most before this, the most recent Evil Dead movie. So
called Evil
Ash
Dead
versus Evil.
2013.
So the book that's with Ash is like, that's one. The book that's in the cabin in the other movie that was before this one, that's one. This is the third.
Okay.
So there's these 3 Necronomicons that are out there. So there could be some room for crossover here.
I like that. I'm in on that. I also like how this story was told, where you get the like the campsite kind of thing, like lake, and you're like, oh, here we go again, because like these movies take place on like
Right.
in a camp, and so they do that for like 10 minutes, but then they get away from that. They go to like an apartment building, and that's where like most of the whole movie takes place. And then you
Right.
see that girl at the very end, and like that's the carryover there. And then she's about to go out to the camp, and so you're like, oh, that ties it all together. But I like that it was like a different play on, like they used a different setting at least, and so
Yes.
I thought that was pretty good. I also like this family, like that we were talking about, like the new characters that they showed in here were pretty good. And I'll tell you what, I don't know if I should say this, but the mom in this who turns bad even when she was bad, hmm,
Hello.
not bad.
But does this great wide-eyed, like creepy smile.
Yeah.
Like does that so well. And I think she did like such a good job of playing that character and the almost like the physicality that kind of went into that. And also I love that they didn't really, if you watch this, there's not a ton of what you would call like computer generated special effects. It's all practical effects.
That was low
Like
budget.
all stuff is super low budget, which is like what you want to see when you
Yeah.
see these movies. And the nightmare fuel I was talking about at the end is when the mother and the two kids were all like merged together into like that spider
Oh my
thing.
god.
Horrifying.
That's
Horrifying.
crazy.
Right. And they're like digging
Yeah.
holes, like burying like into her.
Oh.
Like that was so creepy, but so good.
Yeah.
The other
that
thing
was-
that like creeps me out too, and my wife refuses to watch movies with this, a lot of eyeball stuff. It's a lot of
so
eyeball stuff.
that'll kickflip me into one of the best scenes of the entire movie. And this is one of those, like when you watch some of these like gory horror movies, you're always looking for something you've never seen before.
Mhm.
And there's a scene where someone bites out somebody's eye. So the
Yes.
crazy mom takes one of the neighbors, bites his eye out. That alone's pretty sweet. Then she turns, spits it into some other kid's mouth, and he chokes on it.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before.
Never seen that before. I've never seen a pair of scissors opened and one shear stuck up someone's nose.
Nope.
That was great. And
Nope.
they even left like the cut on like the outside of the nose. I
Ugh.
thought that was like such attention to detail.
Oh, it's nasty.
It was
There's
awesome.
also the cheese grater to the
Yeah.
calf and pull down. Boy.
Boy.
Boy. Man.
Man alive. And
That
he'll
was-
have a good since that's the best wood chipper scene since Fargo too.
Yeah, what was that wood chipper doing in there though?
It was like a tree company.
Just parked in the
Yeah, the guy who owns it probably lives there.
okay. All right, I'll give you that.
He's got his chainsaw and he's got his wood chipper there.
So that's one of the clear homages to the originals
Yes.
is the chainsaw. Like that's
And the
good-
shotgun. So it's chainsaw shotgun, which and like there's moments where I believe Ellie, is that the character's name?
the
Our protagonist.
yes, Ellie and no. Ellie, I think, is the mom.
And Cassie. Oh, and it was
Beth.
Cassie.
Beth, I believe. Beth, the girl is Cassie, I think, and Beth is the
Okay.
sister.
So I saw it a couple days ago, so give me a break.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
so there's moments where she has like the blood running down her face, and there's like those super close-ups of her face, and she kind of has that like Bruce Campbell Evil Dead 2 face.
Yes.
That like big kind of like grin with like blood on her face. So it's like it's working. There's some subtle nods to that. Yeah.
the
Come get
voice-
some.
Yeah, come and get some.
Yeah.
The voice that they use too for like the
Deadites.
the Deadites, it's like half their voice, then it's kind of like digitized, like
Yeah.
computer kind of thing, like creepy as hell. The way they
Super
do it.
creepy.
I
Because
also
it sounds like a ton of people talking.
it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird, but I like it. That's scary. I also like getting the book, but then it also comes with like the records and like the vinyl, and they're playing it and they're like trying to listen back to it and get clues on it, and like any kind of history that you have with the Book of the Dead, I'm in on. Like that's good stuff.
It is good. And I like that it had like different pictures and they
Mhm.
had like a different team of people like studying it. So that was you got kind of like a fresh take on it, which was kind of cool. If I ever find a book in a library or like a rare bookshop with the occult and it has teeth,
Yeah.
I'm not getting it.
If it's made
just
out of
leave it.
skin and their teeth keeping it closed and you have to
You just-
open it with blood,
You just leave it.
skip it.
That's not for me. You know.
Yeah, and so really you can blame the son for this. The son brought the book back
Mhm.
and he opened the book and they're like that caused all kinds
And the
of
sister's like, it's kind of on you. He's like, no, it's not. Like, no, it
dude,
is.
kind of is though.
Yeah, we kept telling you to leave it alone. We kept telling you to leave it down there. No.
Yeah. Apparently, so maybe this will So maybe you're going to be partly right here because I know you were anticipating Bruce Campbell maybe being in this. I guess he does have a voice cameo heard in one of the recordings on the phonograph records from 1923. He voices an unnamed character who forewarns the priest to the danger of the demon resurrection ritual, shouting, "It's called the Book of the Dead for a reason."
Oh, that's him.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did hear that faintly.
I know.
I have to go
I
back
had no
next
idea it was
watch it and
him.
listen for it.
I know.
Now
That's
this
kind
could
of
be in another time.
I mean,
Shit.
right. That's the other thing with these. You don't really know. That
Yeah.
was one of the cool things. And this is sort of a spoiler for the Thing, real quick.
Yeah.
Spoiler for the Thing.
It's 40 years old. Like,
Yeah, but did you see the remake? So like the reboot for the Thing, the whole time you're watching it, you didn't realize it was actually like a prequel, which was badass. Like it was like a good like the ending actually was like
see, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen the remake one. I've only seen the original.
well, you
You-
spoiled.
I
Boom,
don't care.
spoiled.
I don't care.
But it's good. Like it wasn't. I think here's another spoiler incoming. Wasn't one of the Final Destinations like that too? I think one of the new Final Destinations was actually also like a prequel.
Yeah,
Like,
and I heard they're
oh,
making another one.
yeah, why not? Good.
How do you call it Final Destination to have 9 of them? I don't know.
I don't know how it works. I don't know
Yeah.
how any of this stuff works. Was there anything that bothered you about the movie? 'Cause I thought like I've seen a lot of horror movies, as you know, and even a lot of horror movies this year. I thought the dialogue was actually pretty decent. Like it wasn't. Sometimes it can get kind of corny and like just like whatever. But I thought it was pretty good.
No, this was like I feel like we get too wrapped into like universes and like tying things together now just to see like
Mhm.
a one-off like hour and a half horror movie like
Mhm.
fucking shotgun to the head like
Yep.
boom
I agree.
absolutely like real tight hour and a half like how horror movies have no business being over an hour and 45 minutes.
Nope.
They don't.
That's the cutoff.
That's it. I mean, if you're pushing 2 hours, it's too long.
Mhm.
Like I need to be able to like get into the story right away. And I think it did seem a little rushed at times. Like you didn't get, like I said, you didn't get like the character development that you were like the relationship between the sisters. Like you got enough. That's fine. Like
Yeah.
you know, you could have added a little bit more to that. Like flush the kids out a little bit, but like you're
Right.
good.
Right. Right.
You're good there. Perfect.
I like it.
Mhm.
Any other oh, so based on the success, I should say, like this is probably gonna get another movie, I would think. And maybe
Yeah,
do you think in that one is where you get sort of like that's where the tie-in comes?
I think so. Because
I
Ash
think
versus Evil
capitalized.
Dead is done.
Yeah.
They have that cabin, so like they know where at
Yeah.
least like there's 3 books out there. So now they've heard that there's 3 books. So
That's
maybe,
cool. Yeah.
you know, there is, you know, is Ash and his team looking for them? Are they looking for him? Do
Mhm.
they like stumble upon like, you know, come to this cabin in the woods and like find him?
Yeah.
Which would be great because, you know, I don't know how much longer Bruce is going to want to do this stuff,
I don't
but
know.
got to
I
make it
don't know.
happen right now.
How about the like the main character being a guitar tech?
Love
Fixing
that.
fixing guitars.
Love that. Look at that.
Yeah.
We're
She'd fit right in over here at
look at that.
Casa Davy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's set up.
That whole setup with my guitar tech stuff.
Not bad.
Yeah. Jim Root was going through some like beefier strings, you know.
I'm not a
So
groupie.
I'm not a groupie.
You're a groupie.
Me, yeah, me either, man.
You're not
Just a
groupie.
band
Yeah,
photographer and a guitar tech. That's what I do.
that's
That's
it.
what I do all day. Yep.
And a podcaster.
And a podcaster and an educator and a coach and a hell of a dad.
And a dad.
Yeah.
Anybody can be a father, but it takes a man to be a dad.
Probably a shit husband. Now that we're thinking of it too.
It's lower on the
With
list.
all those things, like I'm probably just shit
Where's
husband.
the
That's
time? You don't have the
fine.
fucking time.
Who's got it? Who's
You don't
got
have
it?
the fucking time for that.
Yeah.
Is there any other horror movie you can possibly think of that needs a reboot or a requel that hasn't had one? Because I feel like they almost all have had one.
Give me Barbarian. Give me a Barbarian origin story.
Ooh, more Barbarian. Barbarian.
Yeah. Like in like because it was that like the 70s, like he gets going, like late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, probably.
So give me like a good like 86, 87
Oof.
Barbarian.
I'd watch
You know,
that.
having little babies, incest babies down there.
I don't want to watch that.
Come on.
Yeah. Come on, it's a movie.
Him digging the tunnels. They putting him to work. Dig
Yeah.
tunnels for him. You know? Come on.
The whole movie is just them digging.
Mhm. Hey, we watched Hobbits walk up a mountain for 3 hours. We can watch that.
Yeah, that was Best Picture. All right.
Yeah.
So,
Seriously.
what about Alice, Sweet Alice, the Brooke Shields movie from the 70s? with the crazy mask, like the plastic mask.
My wife was watching a documentary that was it like Pretty
Brute,
Baby or
Brooke Shields.
Brooke
Yeah,
Shields.
my wife was watching some of them too.
Yeah.
I
Did you say Brooke Shields? Or did you say something else?
No, I said Brooke Shields. You're right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, I didn't realize like she was super young in all these like modeling campaigns and like
So
all these
gross.
directors were. It's so gross.
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh my god, like she's gonna have sex in this movie." I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Her mother like signed off on it too.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Hollywood kid.
Not good.
Not great.
I
No,
don't
sir.
like it. I don't like that. Boy.
Oh, the mother singing the song in the hallway too. Anytime like people sing like lullabies, like in that really creepy voice.
I
And
don't like
I love the keyholes, like watching through the keyhole.
That's great.
That was great.
Yeah.
I love like you see like the younger of like the neighbor boys like run off screen. And
Yeah.
then her like chasing him, and all of a sudden you see him getting fired off off the wall. Like that's one of those like you shouldn't laugh. It's a horror movie, so it's not real.
Yeah.
So you can laugh at that. It's fine.
Yeah.
But just tossed him.
Just fucking give him a just chucked him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good. Again, I really like how they did it. It was like a good swerve where you're thinking like the first 3 characters that you meet, you're like, these are going to be the main characters, and then it's like, no, they're going to be in it for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I like that. Very good.
Like a Scream thing. They took a nod from Scream.
Yeah, it is kind of Scream
Like
like
a cold open.
I like a cold open.
Mhm.
That was great. Scream 6, by the way, on Paramount Plus. If you guys haven't seen Scream 6,
I saw scenes. I saw parts of it. It wasn't bad.
give it a go. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun flick. All right, you got anything else on Evil Dead Rise?
Watch it. Like I said, if you like these movies, it fits nicely into the bottom third of our top 100 horror movies of all time. It's going to boot something else out.
Yeah, it could.
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah.
It's good.
Although that's true. When we did that list, that was like pre-Barbarian, pre-this. Like, yeah, that bottom's getting reshuffled around.
And by the way, this movie is a 5. I just realized that like my temperament of this is I'm not like giving you the excitement that I would normally give for a movie that's a 5. You have to understand that I'm emotional damage right now.
Yeah, the best hockey team in the history of the regular season lost in the first round.
Just lost in the first round of the fucking playoffs. Awful.
Pick of the bomb.
Pick of the bomb. Pick of the bomb.
Pick of the pod.
Oh, before you do your pick of the pod, kick received deferred to Pinnacle. Did you watch the latest Yellow Jackets yet?
Not yet.
Okay, so you and me are what, 5 episodes in?
Yes. So the
All right.
last one I saw was it 2 Truths and a Lie?
I think yes.
Is that what it's called? Yeah.
Yep.
That's the last one I watched.
Man, I fucking love that show. So yeah, we
great.
didn't do like a real TV. Barry is still really good, dude. The last episode of Barry, did you watch that one?
It was pretty intense.
But how about the Fred Armisen scene?
So good. So fun. And that's where like him just like standing in the back, like for whatever, like as soon as I saw him, because I guess him and Hader are tight. Like they
Oh, I think those guys are gotta be best friends. Yeah.
yeah. And man.
Fred Armisen is
Oh, that's right. There was no Yellow Jackets this week.
Wait, what?
Last week. There was
Really?
there is no Yellow Jackets this week.
What the fuck? Why'd they take the week
I
off?
forget,
for?
but they took the week off because I went to go watch it on Friday and there is no Yellow Jackets this week.
That doesn't seem fair.
Right. But I can watch Barry after this.
Yeah, we can both watch Barry.
Yeah.
Wait, why would they not do
I forget. Like something's going on. You know?
Oh, you know what's weird? Is this is according to what is this? Wikipedia.org. The first season was 10 episodes.
This one's 9. So that's why they took a week off.
So they took a week off, and so we're 5 in, and then we got a week off, and then we go 6, 7, 8, 9, boom, 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 we're done.
Yes.
So JT in the chat wants us to do a Yellow Jackets mid-season, which would be great, but we got to do Guardians next
We
week.
have this just too much.
Yeah. All right, so it's a mid-season break. All right, Thomas says it's a mid-season break. All right, it's a mid-season break.
All right, shit.
All right, but I love the show. I love the
I
show
love it.
very much. All right, anyway, back to the pick of the pod. Kick, receive, defer, defend a goal.
I will receive
Yep.
just to get this over with. It's not a full endorsement. I've seen an episode or 2 of this show, and it's pushing all the buttons. Have you seen Jury Duty on Freevee?
I have not.
Yeah. So are you aware of this?
I am not.
So it's a show where there are some famous people in it, and it's like James Marsden's in it. Weirdly enough, playing himself.
Cyclops?
Yeah. And some people like character actors who you'd recognize, and basically it's like they have this one. You remember Joe Schmo, the reality show Joe Schmo?
Yeah.
It's like that, but it's jury duty. So like everyone on the jury is like in on the joke, and this guy thinks he's actually there, and they're doing like a documentary about like jurors,
Okay.
and they just kind of fuck with them. So I've seen like an episode ish, a little bit more. It's pretty funny. I like where it's going. So it's on Freevee, so which was formerly, I believe, IMDb TV.
Oh, is
free.
that what that? All
Yeah,
right, well,
so
I mean,
IMDb TV is now Freevee, so
dude,
you can check it out
how
on
good
that.
would it be if Freevee wasn't free?
Oh,
They're like,
that'd be great.
sign up for Freevee.
Yeah, it's like a better Pluto if you're into that.
There's no such thing as a better Pluto, and if there is, it's called Tubi. And
Pluto
they're
has
both-
its own designated Judge Judy channel, so that's why Pluto's all right by me.
Pluto, I either watch Mystery Science Theater reruns on Pluto or MTV The Challenge reruns. That's it.
Awesome.
That's it. My pick of the pod, right? You remember DJ, who we met a couple times at our live shows. He has the Bright Side Home Theater podcast.
Yes.
I've mentioned it before. It's a great listen if you're into home theaters. He literally set up mine. And if you have questions about getting into that, about getting your surround sound and whatever your room set up, he is definitely the guy to check out with that. But he let me know that this last week he interviewed something a little bit different on his podcast. Normally he's talking about movies and
Woofers, tweeters,
tweeters, yeah, woofers.
equalizers. Yeah.
He's talking about the whole thing, Dolby Atmos, you name it. His Kaleidoscape. He's talking about all that stuff and how he's watching these movies and everything else. This last one, with the 10-year anniversary of the Boston Marathon bombings, he did an interview with a woman, Roseanne, who he knows and he knew, and she was right at the second bomb. Like she was right there. She is a survivor, and she's telling her story. And it's one of those things where it is super powerful stuff. And it was like the documentary that I watched on Netflix. It's one of those things where you're like, man, I'm not sure. And then you start it, and then you end up watching the whole thing or listening to the whole thing. So he even admits it's very different. They don't do a lot of episodes like this. Normally they're talking about like how good, Jurassic World looks, in your home theater. This one was a little bit different, but so I highly recommend Brightside Home Theater Podcast. You can find those guys on Twitter as well, wherever you get your podcast. So check those guys out if you would like. Next week, like we said, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Cannot wait. Super pumped for that.
I am not ready to emotionally handle this movie, I don't think.
Great call. I think it's gonna be like Infinity War, but Infinity War was like a little bit different because like you knew it was like high stakes and you're like, all right, there's gonna be something happening. But this is even more final than that.
Yeah.
We're gonna lose a couple characters.
Yep.
Who do we lose? Because I feel like
they're setting this up that you're gonna lose Rocket.
I think you're gonna
sure.
lose Rocket, Drax, Gamora. I think you're losing all of them, or maybe even more of them.
Maybe more. Maybe all. Maybe they're just like call it quits after that. I don't know.
It's gonna be something.
It's gonna be. Did you watch the clip that they released with Rocket and his pals?
No, I've stopped watching clips. I'm done. I'll check it out. I'm going Thursday.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm gonna see this bad
Less.
boy.
I'm like, don't show me anything else.
I don't want to see anything else.
Nothing
I don't want
else,
to see anything else either. All right. Well, let us know what you guys think. Hit us on Evil Dead Rise. If you guys saw it, hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at Dork Podcast. And you can email us, dorkpodcast@gmail.com, including your should I have bought this. And subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/Dork Podcast. We stream these bad boys live every Sunday night, and then they are available wherever you get your podcasts after that. So again, Guardians 3 next week. Looking forward to that very, very much. And that'll do it. Thanks for tuning in. Tell a friend, tell a dork. Dave, you don't give a shit about anything, do you?
What'd you say?
I said you don't give a shit about anything, do you?
Not really.